Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Ranking the Albums. Today, in the co-captain's chair, Miss Lynne Versaci. Hello, how are you?
Hello, good morning. I'm doing all right, hanging in there. Hope everyone doesn't mind. I kind of jumped out of bed and got dressed, and I had to go care for this 90-year-old woman because I'm a caregiver for her. And then I came back home, and this is what it is. Like, I rolled out of bed, I washed up, I threw some makeup on. So I apologize if I don't look as glamorous as I do on the Hudson Valley Squares.
Well, you asked for it. Now you're going to get all these comments about how fantastic you look today. So.
Oh, yeah, right. No, but I'm just saying, like, at least I do my makeup a little better in the evening, but this is what you get for a Sunday morning. That's it. Cheers to your coffee cup.
There you go. There you go. And here I am, right? Just
well, you always look good. It doesn't matter.
But I am wearing this fancy new Uriah Heep Demons and Wizards t-shirt that some very kind viewer sent me. I just showed up one day. I'm like, oh, I didn't order this. I order a lot of t-shirts, but I didn't order this. So if you're watching, if you sent this, thank you. I'd love to know who you are. But in case I never do, whoever sent it, I greatly appreciate it. I will wear it properly as I am today.
That's an awesome shirt.
It's
That's
cool.
Really
it's like made of that, like, you know, like baseball jersey material.
Yeah, and it's like tie-dye-ish. I love it.
Yes, it's pretty cool. And the whole thing is like
very cool.
It's totally like awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything else like this, so this is pretty cool.
I'm down.
Yeah, really
I'm
cool.
down. And like I said in my last video, like, I need some gifts. Hello.
Lynn's birthday's coming up. Send Lynn
the big 50. Like, what's up? I can't even believe I'll make it to 50. I hope I make it another month.
Yeah, you'll probably outlive it. So I think you got nothing to worry about.
Oh, we'll see. So
today, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody watching, we are going, as Lynn continues to, you know, fine tune everything. We've been having a very good.
At least it was only lipstick.
Yes.
You know, Pete and I had a moment before that really wasn't suitable for on air, but it was funny as hell.
Via Zoom, right? Without everybody getting too ridiculous. Yeah.
It was funny as hell, though. It was funny as hell.
I do have a really cool 10-second blooper, though, that is actually going to air of the aftermath of that. So I was just watching it before we went there, and it's pretty funny. So if you want to see me completely speechless and just like drowning in giggles, you're going to get it. So
we were like two schoolgirls.
I've had a lot of that today. One of those Sundays. Anyway, what are we talking about here?
Def Leppard.
Def Leppard, that's right. So we're going to rank the catalog of Def Leppard. We've got, all right, so here's the deal. They've got 11 studio albums. One of them is a covers album. I have not included that in my list. This is the Yeah album, although pretty good. Lynn has included it in her list because I don't one of the other albums, right? So bear with us.
I don't follow directions.
That's all right. So hers is not going to include the self-titled release from 2015. Mine will not include this. So we're going to have 10 anyway. Just they'll be a little off. So I'll have Lynn kick us off with her number 10.
Well, I don't think it's going to be off because my number 11 really would have been that Def Leppard self-entitled album anyway, because I don't like it. It was poo-poo. So I'm kicking it to the curb. But
there you go.
Number 10, Euphoria, 1999. I have nothing. I have nothing good to say. It's like poppy, techno, overproduced, 21st century schoolgirl, la la la, Kings of Oblivion. Goodbye. I mean, goodbye is right. Ugh, like goodbye. I'm out. Number 10. I mean, I don't even know. I don't know. I think it was 1999, and they were just trying to like stay current with the trending music scene. I don't know what they were thinking. Wasn't for me. I don't own it. I don't want it. Yeah, I'm out on that.
I own half of it. Yeah, there's half I never bothered to buy. I've heard them, obviously, and you know, when you're music reviewing and stuff, you get sent the downloads and all that kind of crap. But man,
I'm sure
there are some real questionable albums here, as we'll get to. My number 10, and again, I had a hard time with the bottom half of this list because some of them are just universally bad. So it's like, which one do you hate worse than the others? I'm going to go with the X album from 10. It's X, but it's 10, but it's not their 10th album. So what the point of that is, I have no idea. From 2002. So, you know, it starts off strong. I mean, the first album is this song called Now, which is really good. and then it's like it just goes downhill quick. It's got like another decent tune is Scar. The rest is just boring pop, way too many ballads. I don't have an issue with ballads, but make the ballads memorable. These aren't memorable.
No.
I think it's just a absolutely dreadful album. And, you know, the fact that I had to go and re-listen to it for the purposes of doing this was like, you know, 40 minutes I'll never get back again. So
yeah, no question.
My number 10 is their album 10 or X. So back to you.
Well, and you know what? My number 9 is X or 10. My number 9, that was in July of 2002, you know? So it was like, again, I'm not really sure what the hell they were thinking. It was, I don't know. It was too sappy, too techy. And they weren't going in the same direction I was. I think I was getting a little heavier and they were getting a little more schoolgirlish. I don't know. I don't know, whatever you call it. But yeah, and again, aside from that song now, but it did kind of just tank. I didn't really, and again, I don't own it. I never wanted to own it. I don't like it. You know, I was probably stuck in a mosh pit somewhere in 2002 and they clearly were not.
I mean, you talk about an identity crisis. This band just really like suffered for so many years trying to figure out just where their place was in modern music. And you know, they followed some trends and they tried to go back to an old style, which didn't work. And in 2002, that album is like, you know, 2002, you got like new metal and all sorts of other stuff happening. And that album just sticks out like a sore thumb as being just like not good and so not with the times. But
they need to stay in their lane. They need to find a fucking lane and stay in your lane. Like, don't deviate. I get it if, like, again, the whole creative license, you want to have creative license, you want to try something new, try a couple new tunes, but make the rest of the album killer, you know, like pick a lane and stay in it. They clearly did not do that. And I don't really think that they're doing it now.
Yeah.
Not that I hate Def Leppard. I don't hate them anymore. I just don't love them.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a
sad to say.
Yeah, it's a very uneven catalog at times. It really is. Speaking of, my number 9 is going to be Slang from 1996. Oh, man. Talk about boring, unmemorable, alternative rock, industrial, really bland ballads. I mean, it's an absolute complete misfire, this album. I almost rank this bottom. I don't know which one I dislike worst, Slang or X or 10, whatever. You know, Deliver Me, somewhat enjoyable. Gift of Flesh is somewhat heavy, but considering this is the first album with Vivian Campbell, like...
That's what I'm saying. It was their 6th album and it was Viv. So I was hoping for a lot more from this one.
And it's not a guitar album at all. It's just 2 thumbs down. No good. Definitely no good. Back to you.
Amen. Well, my number 8 is Slang. So it looks like we're kind of going... You know, I'm like one ahead of you. But again, 1996, their 6th album. I was like, oh my God, Vivian Campbell, right? Like, holy shit, this is going to be amazing. And I think he wrote one of the songs, right? Work It Out. He co-wrote one of those songs. And I was like, again, expecting it to be like killer guitar. And it wasn't what I expected. Again, Gift of Flesh, it's okay, you know, whatever. But again, it's not the record for me. It's not what I was expecting with Viv coming in at all. And I know he was in there for a while, and I thought maybe I'd get a lot more from the band because he was in there. But no, Slang is number 8 for me. It's not good.
Yep. Neither is the next one for me. Def Leppard, self-titled from 2015. Again, the band's trying to go back towards more of their hard rock roots. So there are a few pretty good songs on here. Let's Go is one of them. Dangerous. Reminds me of their kind of like mid 80s, you know, upbeat guitar oriented stuff. You know, they're trying to go back to that big production type of thing. All Time High is pretty good. Broken Hearted also kind of rocks, but man, there's a lot of songs on the album and way too many ballads and mellow tracks. So again, a couple of decent ones. They're trying, but they just keep going back to the well of this just kind of like murky, sappy, unmemorable, boring ballads and like mid-paced rockers that just really don't go anywhere. It's like I want the high energy of like definitely. I mean, I get it. I know they're all older and all that kind of stuff, but as we'll see in a little bit on a recent album they've done that I think captures that. This album does not.
Yeah, I agree. So number 7, I have Adrenalize, believe it or not, from 1992. I know a lot of people are going to be probably shocked. They probably thought it was like a little higher on my list. But again, Let's Get Rocked, I guess, it's okay. I mean, personal property, I don't know. Making Love Like a Man, that was okay. It's just, again, it's kind of dancing around, and I don't know. Just, again, it wasn't for me. Again, in 1992, that's just not where my vein was. I don't know. I know it was big, it was popular, and a lot of women liked it. A lot of girls were like, oh my God, that's, and I just guess I'm not one of those women. I don't know. It just wasn't, again, I was expecting more. Especially in that era, 1992, like it was all about heavy and rock. And I get it. There was some glam stuff, but this wasn't even glam. This was kind of like, I want to run through the fields in a Massengill commercial, kind of like, I don't know. Like, it was very like, I can't explain. It was not good. All right, number 2, I had Pete Pardo Speechless twice today.
Wow, you're on a roll today, man. I have never heard that before. Massive commercial.
It was very like, I want to put on a dress and like I want to put on fucking combat boots and I want to slam someone into a fucking
and this
wall.
is not the album to do it.
Like this is not what I want. So again, I guess most chicks were all about that, dancing. And I had it'll come down. You'll see that I had my time dancing to them and all that stuff, but this was not it. So number 7, Adrenalize, whatever that's my number 7.
Yeah, it's my number 7 as well. I don't like this album. The band, Steve Clark dies. They're carrying on as a 4-piece. That's all fine and dandy. But the album is really poppy. Whatever you want to call it, glam rock, pop, whatever you want to call it. I don't know.
Garbage.
Get Rocked is kind of a fun song, but it's silly. Personal Property kind of rocks. I dig that. Tear It Down is pretty good, but the rest just really slick ballads and just unmemorable stuff. It's like they took that formula that was very successful for them, a couple of years prior, and they just beat it to death, but the songs weren't any good. That's the problem. The songwriting's just not there. So
who produced that record? Was it Mutt Lange? Did he produce that? I don't know who produced that.
Don't
in
remember.
92.
That was the last one. He might have executive produced it. I don't know if he's the guy who was twiddling.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, who's behind the scenes telling them that it's good? Like,
well, you know what?
I can't imagine being in the studio and fuck the formula. I can't imagine being the guy pushing the buttons and then telling them what to do and going, "Oh my God, this is going to be it. This is the hit."
Yeah, I mean, it made the money, and they did
I know,
well with
and I guess that's all it's about, was making the money. But
yeah, I think for most hardcore like Def Leppard fans, Adrenalize was pretty much a disappointment. So
okay,
all right, number 6?
Yeah, because you had 7, right? So my number 6 was the record that you told me not to fucking include. Was Yeah, but to me, like, that was one of their better records. And I know it's cover tunes. I get it. Listen, I don't like that artwork. I think that album cover sucks.
It's awful. Yeah.
I feel like if I buy that, I feel like I'm going to fucking look at a Broadway play and like.
You know what it looks like? It looks like one of those like K-Tel hits of the 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
Bright and shiny, woo, disco era.
Pop rock. Yeah, it's not, again, I don't really like that, but I turn it on and one of my favorite songs of all time is on there. T-Rex, 20th Century Boy.
Yeah.
Dan, it. Like, you put T-Rex on, you put that song on, and I don't give a shit who's singing it. I mean, unless they suck really bad. That song is just, oh my God, it's fucking T-Rex. I mean, it's great. So they covered that. That was great. I mean, they covered Hanging on the Telephone, which I liked. I know it was a little girly, but Hellraiser, Rock On. I mean, I love this album. Again, I think it's one of their better albums, maybe because they didn't write the songs.
Maybe. I mean, this is all the stuff that they love.
Yeah.
They love like 70s glam and pop rock. I mean, that's what they're all about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know what? T-Rex, I get it, but T-Rex was cool. I mean, they had swag before swag was a thing, kind of like the New York Dolls and all those people back then, like it was what it was. It was cool before people were doing it, It was funny. Like, I made a post the other day. I was sharing something on Facebook, on social media. And I was doing merch for this band a couple of years back at the Chance. I was, selling their merch and stuff. And the guy was like, and I guess I wasn't dressed rock and roll that night. I don't know. I must have been wearing some fucking mom clothes or so. I don't know what I was wearing, but it's hard to believe that my boobs were out. I don't know. But either way, the guy was like, oh yeah, like, Doc Martens and like ripped up clothes. He's like, that's what it's all about. Like trying to tell me. And I was like, I have fucking Doc Martens older than you, bro. Like you're trying to tell me what's swag and what's cool. Like I wanted to backhand him and be like, listen, you need to go home with your mom. But, like again, these guys were doing swag before swag was even a fucking word,
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, saying all that is a good tribute to their heroes and the bands that they like.
Yeah.
One of the better.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of bands do these cover album things, right? And this one at least is pretty listenable.
Yeah,
and it kind of like broke up a string of pretty terrible albums from them, right? I mean,
I think they needed that. They needed that to kind of segue into say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And now we're going to find a lane and hopefully stick to it. Or so they thought.
Yeah. So they thought. All right. So my number 6, which I think is going to surprise a lot of people. I just don't like this album. Hysteria. I know there was a lot of hysteria for this album and this sold a ton. But man, I remember at the time I was like, I just don't like this because I liked all their previous albums and I was just heavily getting into thrash at the time in a big way. And this is like the antithesis.
No question.
Of that. I mean, it's overproduced to the max, like way too much. But I mean, there's a million hits on here, right? You can't, Women, Rocket, Animal, Love Bites. I never, ever, ever need to hear Pour Some Sugar on Me Again. That is just such a, and you may love it and that's fine. I hate it. The title track, Armageddon it. I mean, it's just like, it just irks me. All these songs. I will say God's of War is a really cool song and that I like. But I could listen to it and tolerate back in the day. I can't tolerate it anymore.
That's okay. Hey,
and the fact that I'm even ranking it where it is, it could even be lower, but they've got worse than this.
I know. That's the sad part. So where am I? Number 5? Number 5, honestly, and I actually like this record. Maybe it should be up a little higher, but Songs from the Sparkle Lounge from 2008. I actually thought it was one of their better records. I actually like it. I like the concept. I like the cover. I like Gotta Let Go. Love the vocals. Only the Good Die Young. And again, that's not the Billy Joel one. See, I like that, The guitar is great on that song. Come On, Come On. It has a great groove. 9 Lives with Tim McGraw. I thought that was a great collaboration. And the record starts off with that song, Go. So it starts off with great guitar licks. It starts off a little bit heavier. And it made me feel like I was at the loungy kind of theme, I like that. So for me, that's my number 5. Like I said, maybe it should have been before one of the other ones. I don't know, but I do like it. I do like that record a lot. Not that I've listened to it a million times and not that I have it in my iPod or any of that stuff, but I definitely would not throw it away with some of their others. So I do like that.
More about that in a couple of minutes. My number 5 is Euphoria from 99. Again, it's one of those albums that half of it I think is pretty good. They're trying. Half of it is pretty forgettable. And it comes after that disaster of an album, Slang, that we talked about before, which is terrible. This at least is somewhat getting back to a little bit of harder rocking. I mean, Demolition Man is a really good song. Promises is pretty cool. Got a nice hook to it. Back in Your Face is also good. I like the kind of moody Paper Sun. So it's got some strong stuff. And then it's got some stuff that's just completely forgettable. So it's kind of like, for me, I'm kind of like, I was almost going to rank it a little lower, but the stuff that I like on it is actually pretty good. Like, I'll tell you, the tracks that I like on Euphoria, I would listen to any day over the shit from this album.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's the way I feel about it. So that's why I ranked it.
That's all right. Teach their own.
Yeah. So back to you, number 4.
That's all right. Listen, hey, and I actually have number 4. I actually have On Through the Night. Right. It's their first record. Yeah, I have that as my number 4. And I think I probably should have switched the next 2 really. But I'll tell you that in a minute. But On Through the Night, 1980, it's their first record. It rocks off, good jam. I mean, I really like it. I can listen to this over and over again. I think it was a good record. I think it was more of almost like a Southern rock kind of vibe. Like they came out with a Southern rock kind of vibe. And I do like it. I like it a lot. And it is it's up there, but I think because I put the other records kind of higher because I think they were just listening to them all the time, you know, like out with the girls dancing around.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of why I put it where it is. But On Through the Night is my number 4. And I'm sure you probably have it as your 1 or 2.
Well, you'll see. You'll see. All right. So my number 4, right? My number 4 is Songs from the Sparkle Lounge from 2008. This is pretty good. Yeah. This is easily the best thing they've done in like 30 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, no question.
Like this album. You know, you mentioned some of the, you know, the hot tracks on here. Go is a fantastic song. I mean, that
starts off killer.
And it's like, yeah, you know, it's just good, catchy, hard rock. Come On also rocks hard. Tomorrow's a good song. Hallucinate is really good. Got a great chorus, some really good guitar riffs. Only the Good Die Young, which you mentioned, is also a really good, strong song. Come Undone, also pretty heavy. I like it. I think it's and what I don't understand, this is the confusing thing about this band, like in more recent times, meaning 30 years, it's like they'll come out with like an album like this, which hints that they're kind of going back to their roots a little bit, and people dig it because a lot of, and then they'll come back and put out a complete turd after it, which like what is going on, guys?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, who's directing them? Who's the guy at the fucking sound booth that's like, oh yeah, let's go back this way? Like, I just don't know who's behind. I mean, are they just doing it? Like, this is what we want to do. Too bad we're putting it out and they don't care because they're Def Leppard and they can do that? Or is somebody telling them that, hey, yeah, this is going to be great. Let's take a turn and dial it down.
I don't know. Because a lot of these crappy albums we're talking about that are just littered with these boring, bland, unmemorable ballads, just stop already. They're not becoming hit singles. Nobody cares. Yeah. So go back and just rock and do what you just good party upbeat rock music, man. You don't need to be a metal band anymore. Just a band that writes decent hooks in rockin' songs. That's basically Def Leppard's formula. Always has been.
It is. So it is. Maybe he can't sing them anymore. I'm thinking maybe he can't get the growl and the rasp. Maybe he just can't do that. So I'm thinking maybe you just sing what you can sing, turn it down a few keys, you know, like if you have to go to a lower key, go to a lower key, lower octave range. Like, and then maybe just have the other guys do a little more backing vocals to kind of support the fact that you can't fucking sing anymore. Anyway. Yeah. If that's the issue, I don't know. But yeah, at least if they're doing some heavy grooves and some great guitar riffs and some good drum beats, like at least if they're doing that, I think the fans would maybe appreciate that a little more. Like, all right, they're trying, at least their music is heavy. Maybe he can't sing to the High and Dry album like he used to, but holy shit, this record's a little heavier. I think that's where they need to go. Somebody should be telling them.
Well, we're telling them right now. It's like you want to do, here's the blueprint for what you should be doing going forward.
Exactly.
Like this exactly. I think is, I'm totally okay with this, but some of this other stuff, man, oof.
Yeah, maybe you and I need to start the business and say, hey, listen, hire Lynn and Pete. They'll tell you what fucking lane you should be in, and then you're going to have hit records.
There you go. Hey, anything's worth it, right? Joe, you guys, are you watching? We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah. Wait a minute. We know someone who knows Vivian, so maybe his people can call our people.
Yeah. I don't know how much pull Viv has in the band, but you know, hey, he co-wrote a bunch of songs. He might
be a hired gun, but he did, right? He's writing.
The last couple albums he wrote quite a bit on, so
yeah. Yeah, so Viv, write some heavier shit.
Yeah, there you go. Very simple. It's a very simple solution here.
Exactly. So I'm on number 3, yeah?
Yes.
So that's where I put Hysteria. And that's why I said to you, maybe I should have flip-flopped Hysteria with On Through the Night, because now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of do like the record of On Through the Night better than Hysteria. However, I fucking danced to Pour Some Sugar on Me. I can't even tell you how many times.
Oh, you did.
Because, you know, again, it's right. That record was 1987. So from 87 to whatever the hell, 1995, 98, whatever, you're going out with the girls. It's, you know, and I hung out with a bunch of dancers back then, a bunch of my stripper friends and whatever, nice people. And I still keep in touch with some of them. They're awesome. But, you know, you're going on the dance floor, and what do you want to do back then? You're a chick. You want to dance to some hot tunes, and you want to try to pick up those long-haired rock stars. That was the fucking antithesis song of going on the dance floor and dressing your hottest and dancing your hottest and going, all right, who's going to notice? Anyone? Bueller? So I think that's kind of why I ranked that, because it was more for like nostalgia purposes than it was the actual music, because musically I do like On Through the Night much better. But again, Hysteria I did rank in from 1987. I did rank it number 3. Again, I like some of the tunes, but now that I think about it, Love Bites, like, would I really put that on now? No, I probably wouldn't. Pour Some Sugar on Me, would I dance to it now? I probably would. Again, it's more like nostalgia purposes at this point than it is the music, because I do like On Through the Night musically much better. So there's that.
I mean, the album sold a gazillion copies for a reason, and I know a lot of people who still love those songs, and I'm not.
But I think it's mostly chicks. I do, and again, I think it's mostly chicks, and I think the guys liked it at one point because they were like, "Holy shit, what are these chicks gonna dance to next?" Like back then. Maybe not now. Maybe now the guys are like, "All right, it's freaking 2021. I don't give a shit what you dance to." I don't know. We're now breaking out our fucking walkers, so it's like, I don't know. Like Kip Winger says
much these days, right?
Well, yeah, it's not like she's only 17. It's like she's only 48. It's like, So again, nostalgia. It has, that takes the kind of ranks higher in my book these days.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
What'd you pick for your number 3?
My number 3, I'm going to go with Pyromania.
Nice.
So again, this is kind of the start of them with that really super commercial sound that, quite frankly, did really well for them. But I still like this album. This has got that the Mutt Lange production to it. It's not as enormous as it would get on the next album, obviously, but it's still a pretty big sounding album. Photograph, Rock Till You Drop. I mean, I listened to this a ton when it first came out. Too Late for Love, Die Hard the Hunter is great. I still like Foolin' a lot.
Yes.
Rock of Ages is okay. But it's got one of my favorite Def Leppard songs of all time, Coming Under Fire, which I never understood. That was not a big song on here. That's like the best song on the album.
You got me coming under fire. Yeah, I'm down.
Good. I mean, I love the chorus. I love the backing vocals. It's just a great sounding track. So that's my number 3, Pyromania.
Well, you know what? I can't really say too much more. 1983, Pyromania, that's my number 2. That's my number 2. Foolin', Rock of Ages. I mean, Billy's Got a Gun, right? Like Die Hard the Hunter, like you said. Photograph, Foolin'. I like all that. I like it all. Again, I dance to it. I rock to it. I still will listen to that record. I mean, I would still put it on and I wouldn't be embarrassed. Let's put it that way. Yeah. I would still jam out to it in my car. Sometimes if something comes on, you guys know I'm big Sirius people. So if I turn on my XM or my Sirius radio and it's on, I don't turn it off. Let's put it that way. There are some songs that pop on and I turn it off now. I'm like, all right, enough already. But if this record comes on, I'm not turning it off. I'm still going to turn it up and jam out to it. So that's my number 2, Pyromania.
Yeah, I listened to it not long ago. I was like, oh, this holds up pretty well.
Yeah, for sure. Who'd you pick for your number 2?
I went with On Through the Night.
I knew it.
Yeah, I mean, I like this album. It's got the Tom Allen production on it, who, of course, worked with Judas Priest quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's very much in line with a lot of the other new wave of British heavy metal bands that were coming up at the time. This is, you could arguably say, out of their entire catalog, this and High and Dry are their only kind of quasi metal albums. They're more just really good hard rock, right? But this album's pretty heavy. It's got some really good tracks on here. Rock Brigade is amazing. Hello America is great. I love the vocal on that. It's just so cool. Satellite, Wasted is so good. Rocks Off is so good. You got Bringing on the Heartbreak on here, obviously. I'm sorry, no, it's on the second album. What am I talking about? Tumbling Down is on here as well. This has that very cool early guitar lineup of Steve Clark and Pete Willis, which I think really, really good together. Not
worked well together. Yeah,
they work really well together. I think it's a really strong debut that kind of hinted at what was to come. But it's still the band really young and just kind of figuring it all out. I like the Southern rock thing that you brought up, because it's got the production of the album kind of reminds, it's very dry production. You got all the twin guitar things going on. It reminds me of kind of like Molly Hatchet or some.
It did. It reminded me of that kind of vein. That's what. And I think, again, if they would, not that they did their next record, but I'm saying after that, if they would have stuck to that vein, I think they would have been a lot, not that they weren't big and not that they're not big now, but I think musically they would have been much better if they would have stuck in that vein. Stay in your fucking lane. That's it. They didn't stay in their lane.
And Joe Elliott sounds great on this album, I might say.
Yeah. Oh my God. When I re-listened to it, I was like, holy shit, it doesn't even sound like him.
Yeah.
Again, young, very young. And I get it because years ago, right, I sang in a band. But now if I'm behind a mic, I'm like, yeah, no, it's not quite the same. Not quite the same. I think it is. In the shower, I'm going off, I had a concert in my living room the other day, full hairbrush, everything. Like, I had a great time. I was singing to my dogs. They were front row. They were howling with me. I think they even asked for an encore. I had a good time, but vocally, I'm just not where I used to be.
Yeah, the voice changes over the years, unfortunately. That's just the way it goes, right?
No kidding. Like, I just keep getting raspier and raspier. I don't know what the hell's happening. And I'm like, all right, I don't smoke. I don't drink. Like, maybe I should start.
It'll go
maybe I
reverse.
need some, maybe I should be like Butch bourboning. Maybe I need some bourbon to coat my vocal cords. I don't know. I don't know. But my number one, and I'm sure it's your number one because I think it's everybody's fucking number one, is High and Dry. High and Dry. How many times did I sit? Actually, this is so funny because this is I bought my parents' house when they passed away. So this is my childhood bedroom that I'm actually in right now. How many times in this room have these walls heard the record High and Dry? And speaking of hairbrushes, that's all I did. This record it is by far. And again, coming off On Through the Night, you had that coupled with this. It was like, holy shit, this band's amazing. Okay, what happened? But I mean, Let It Go, another hit and run, High and Dry, Bringing on the Heartbreak, Switch 625. I mean, You Got Me Running, Lady Strange, Mirror Mirror, On Through the Night, No, No, No. Their second album, 1981. I think I was 10. I was 10 years old and it was fucking amazing. And I still think it's amazing. I do. I still think it's amazing. And I know everybody is like High and Dry. Like, I think anyone you ask at anywhere at any given time, I'm gonna go with a big number and say like 98% of people are gonna say this is their favorite record from Def Leppard.
Yeah, it's usually either this or Pyromania for most people. And
again, this doesn't even compare. Yeah. I mean, Pyromania, like that, it pales in comparison. You can't, it's like apples and oranges, like those two records, the first and second records are like, again, they had their vein. They started off that Southern rock, like that Molly Hatchet kind of vibe, went a little heavier with this High and Dry. And then I don't know what happened, but it needs to come back. And again, if it's vocally, because he can't sing it, turn it down a little bit, dial it down, whatever you got to do to fit your vocal ability, whatever. I've seen, people do it all the time, right? Even Jeff Tate, you used to sing Take Hold and all that stuff. And now you have to kind of turn it down for your aging voice. And that's fine. I get it. But
yep, they all do it.
Do whatever you have to do and get back to that lane that we loved so much,
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be tough for them because I think the trying to please the fans who were with them from the very beginning, who like the heavier stuff like this album or even bits of Pyromania, but then all the masses who love the really commercial stuff, right? So it's got to be tough for them. But you know what? At this point, late in the game, it's not like they're like a million selling band anymore. It's like, go back and try and, go back to your roots a little bit. I don't know. It's a difficult band to talk about because they've got all these peaks and valleys and they've come so far from where they started. But yeah, it's my number one, obviously, as well. You said it all. I love the production.
Everybody's number one.
The guitar sound is awesome on here. And it's funny because I remember like when this album first came out, they were playing Bringing on the Heartbreak on the radio, WPDH in Poughkeepsie here. They played it all the time. And I dug it quite a bit, but then I went and picked up the album. I was like, whoa, that's not even nearly the best song on the album. It's like, there's so many other great tracks on here. And you named them all. And I love the instrumental Switch 625. I mean, that's kick ass. I wish they would have done more like that. But
they should have.
I think once Pete Willis was gone, I think that was kind of the end of that kind of style, right? Sadly. But,
yeah, that is sad. It's really sad.
So there you have it, everybody. Ranking the albums up.
Like I said, those, I don't know. It comes on. I love it. I love it.
Yep. Good album. Really good album. Good stuff. So everybody watching, I know it's a hard catalog to rank, but feel free to rank it as you like it. If you want to do all 11 or 10, you want to do your top 5, maybe some of you just like 2 or 3 of them. Hey, that's cool too. Because quite frankly, there's only probably 3 albums here that I really like a lot. There's like 1 or 2 that I dig. The rest, if I never heard again, I'd be quite okay with. But
Yeah, you know what, Pete? You and I probably could have been like, oh, hey, the top 4 records, and then we'd have been like, number 4, this, and this, and then 3, 2, and 1. Like they all could have been equally at number 4, number 10. Like, all right, this is your bottom. Really, I mean, we really could have done the top 3, and everything else is kind of like equally sucky.
Yeah. So for the folks who maybe have not investigated any of their post Adrenalize albums, now you have a feel for what's out there and what you can completely avoid, and maybe what you may want to investigate. That's probably the best thing we could do today. And I know there's going to be people watching who love all those albums that are going to be you guys don't know what you're talking about. It's like, well,
totally,
each his own, right?
Well, one man's trash, he's another man's treasure, after all.
That is correct. So
that's my Sunday morning philosophy.
There you go. So everybody watching, do with it what you want. Hope you enjoyed this. This was fun. Rank them as you like them, or if you just want to hear us blather on about Def Leppard, hey, you've come to the right place. So I want to thank Lynn for joining me here on the show.
Absolutely.
We got another one planned for over the next couple of days. We were going to do it today.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. We're gonna give our top 10 favorite songs from Jefferson Starship.
Oh yeah,
really great band that I think often gets overlooked, and I have loved diving back into the catalog to do this. So that'll be coming at you over the next 1 to 3 days, I'm assuming. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. And Lynn will be, of course, on the Hudson.
Can't wait.
Tomorrow night for a really cool show. We're going to do everybody on the show. The entire cast and the special guest is going to give their dream set list for Iron Maiden. So that is happening tomorrow night.
Holy shit! Which was very difficult, by the way. Very difficult. It was not easy for me at all.
A lot of ways we can go. It'll be interesting. I mean, we got a lot of people doing them tomorrow, so we'll see how. I have a pretty unique set that I put together. I don't know. I'm curious to see if anybody kind of goes the same route as me. But we'll see. We'll see. So that's happening tomorrow night, everybody. So stay tuned for that. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube.
All the damn time.
There you have it, all the damn time. So stay tuned for all that and more. For Lynne Versaci, I am Pete Pardo. Have a good rest of the weekend, everybody.
Have a great day, everybody.
Bye-bye.